Welcome, Eric.
Shakespeare, Macbeth, Julius Caesar. These plays have all the stuff in them I've been dealing with all my life. Lying, cheating, stealing, love, loyalty, revenge, insanity, manhood. There's one more, social pressure. Now, when someone tells you they're as loyal as a dog, don't take that the wrong way. Because we all know dogs are loyal. You know, search and rescue, hunting, love. I love my dog. I had a dog, an Afghan Hound. Golden, fierce for hunting in Africa. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Now this dog was so gorgeous that when I brushed her, she posed. And she ran like a gazelle. I can't tell you how many times when I looked at this dog that the fairy tale came to mind. You know the one about the princess and the frog? You know when the princess kisses the frog and turns into a handsome prince? But don't worry about it. Not once did I kiss this dog. As God is my witness. Not once did I ever kiss this dog without washing her mouth out first. Now, one day, I was awake about 5 in the morning. That's just too early for me because I sell hot dogs. I got to get up early. So I need my rest. So what happened was, my neighbor Roberto, he's been a good neighbor for years. But one morning, I heard the sound of chickens chickening, roosters roostering, cock-a-doodle-doo. I said, something's going on. So I'm looking in the backyard, I see my dog go, posed in position, looking into the neighbor's backyard. But one thing about my dog, she never learned to jump. So I go over there and say, Roberto, what's going on? He said, it's my new business. I said, what, man, these chickens and roosters waking me up, man, they ain't gonna work, man. He says, hey, neighbor, chicken, roosters, rooster, cock-a-doodle-doo, that's what they do. I said, come on, man. He said, hey, man, this is my new business. So I'm frustrated. I'm trying to walk away. Now he's being sarcastic. He says, hey, neighbor. I said, what? He says, would you like some eggs? I said, I don't want no eggs. So look, I go to work, regular program. I come home that night, regular program, I brush Goldie, and I'm looking at her. I said, look at you. I said, fierce honey. I said, as soon as you smelled them chickens, you should have been over that fence, going up, pulling your loco. I said, you weren't nothing to me now. So she looks at me. I said, this is going to come back to haunt you. Because when I'm too tired to brush you, guess what? You don't get brushed. She said, ooh. I said, you think about that tonight. So, once again, I go to sleep. But I'm waking. I wasn't even asleep an hour. Now, this time when I hear the chicken and the roosters roosting, they sound like they under distress. I said, something's happening. So I go to the back window, I look out there, I don't see Goldie. I yell, Goldie, Goldie! But about that third Goldie, she's jumping back over the fence like a gazelle again. She lands like she's a dog gymnast. She sticks to landing, looks at the window, and blows a feather out of her mouth. She blows a feather out of her mouth. Boy, the first thing that came to my mind was, uh-oh. So I run out there, no sign of Roberto. I said, he's not home. So I get her, I clean her up, put her on the side of the house. And I'm looking at her, I said, you done it now. All the time, you done learned to jump now. She looks at me like, now you go deal with Roberto. So I said, I gotta get out of here. Because Roberto's not home, but I'm gonna leave and go to work before he gets back. So I didn't get out of there quick enough. That morning, it started. My chickens, my roosters, oh my God, somebody knows something. Hey neighbor, hey neighbor. I said, oh, I gotta go out here and show some concern. I go out there. He says, neighbor, what happened? My chicken, my rooster, my eggs, no more nothing. I said, I don't know. I said, I wasn't home. I said, what happened to you? I just get back this morning. I said, I don't know. I'm leaving. I said, I'll see you later. But I start to walk away. He calls me back. He says, neighbor, you don't know nothing? Now it's revenge time. I said, I know nothing. All I know, the chicken lady egg, the rooster, no more cock-a-doodle-doo. Now, when it comes to peer pressure, social pressures, high school was rough for me. Not too many people could make me do too many things. But now it was prom time, everybody, it was prom time. So the homies, we all talking, saying, prom time, baby, what you gonna do? I said, man, I'm going to the prom. He said, what you gonna do after the prom? I said, I'm probably go camping. He said, what? I said, I'm going camping, me and my family. He said, dog, you got to score. I said, what you mean? He said, you don't want to be remembered as going to the prom and don't score. I said, what you mean? He said, you know what I mean. He said, it don't matter what kind of athlete you are, what kind of academic scholar you are. You don't want to be remembered by the guy that didn't score on prom night. I said, for real? He said, yeah. I said, what you doing? He said, I'm taking Nancy. I said, Nancy the cheerleader? He said, yeah. She's been scoring on more times than the LA Kings goal. I asked my other homie, I said, who you taking? He said, I'm taking Kim, her sister. She's been driven more times than the driver's ed car. I said, for real? He said, dog, what you gonna do? I said, I'll come up with something in a couple of days. He said, don't forget, you want a short thing. I said, a short thing? He said, yeah. I said, okay. A couple of days go by, we meet up again. He said, dog, you got it? I said, I got one. He said, who? I said, I'm looking at a girl at McDonald's. He said, in my neighborhood McDonald's? I said, yeah. He said, we know all the girls up there. What's her name? I said, she kind of worked behind McDonald's. He said, did she do the trash? I said, no, she cool. And then my homie said, hold up, though. Dirt. He said, the only girls hang out behind McDonald's is hookers. He said, you taking a hooker to the prom? I said, you can't get no shorter than that. He said, what your mother and father gonna say? I said, he probably said the same thing they told my sister. He said, what was that? Have a good time. Now, how many guys can have father and son talks with their fathers and sons? Come on, guys, got no father. That's ridiculous. Now, my daddy, he was something else. I'm the only boy, all girls. So one day, I'm in the backyard, brushing gold. He popped up, he said, boy, you've been dating kind of regular lately. Different girls call, different girls coming around. He said, you need to get one woman. He said, we got a saying back in the old country. I said, what's that, Pops? He said, ain't no sense in having one woman. He said, no, there ain't no sense in having 10 women that don't amount to one. He said, you should have one woman that's worth 10. I said, that sounds pretty good, Pops. He said, look at your mother. She's a good wife, good mother. She take care of you and the girls. Don't you think you want a woman that has the same qualities as your mama? I said, He said, what's all that? I said, well, Pops, I'm kind of leaning in a different direction. My daddy was something else. He said, leaning in a different direction? I said, yeah. He said, you leaning right? Or you leaning left? I said, come on, Pops, you know I shoot from the hip. He said, I'm just checking because you're talking about this leaning. Because if you're talking about leaning, I was going to tell you something. I said, Pops, what you was going to tell me? He said, well, if you're leaning to the left, I was going to tell you that your sister is really your brother. I said, Pops, for real? He said, no, I'm just messing with you. Go on, finish telling me about this. Well, I was at the doctor's office, and I picked up this magazine. He said, what kind of magazine was it, son? I said, Cosmo. He said, Cos what? I said, Cosmopolitan. He said, what kind of magazine is that? I said, it's a magazine for white women. He said, uh-oh. I said, no, Pops, it ain't like that. He said, well, come on, tell me, because, boy, I'll tell you, boy, I was getting ready to wonder about you. I said, no, Pops, it had an article in there that said that out of the 100%, 65% of marriages are based on being sexually compatible with your mate. He said, I hope you ain't talking about no shit, man. I said, no, Pops. you know, I can cook, I can clean, I can do all that stuff myself. He said, yeah, you're right. He said, but I was just concerned. He said, now I need to tell you something that's been going around in your neighborhood, you know, with your mother, your auntie. I said, what? He said, Aunt Barbara. I said, that's my favorite aunt. What's happening with her? I said, but lately she been looking at me funny. He said, what you mean? I said, I don't like to be left alone with Aunt Barbara. He said, what you saying, son? I said, well, every time I go over her house and ain't nobody around, she be looking at me talking about, nephew. Looking like a little hen. Boy, I bet the girls chasing you all over town. That kind of make me uncomfortable. He said, well, that's what I want to speak to you about. He said, you ain't Barbara, ain't you ain't Barbara? I said, what? I thought that was mama's sister. He said, well, they grew up in the islands of Jamaica together. They grew up, they've been like little girls. They grew up all day, been close all their life. He said, but I need to tell you something when you're talking about this good in bed. You ain't Barbara good in bed. I said, Pops. He said, don't worry about it. She introduced me to your mother. But before her, you know how I go. But now we're going to happy family. I said, poor Pop, thanks for cleaning that up. Now I know how she be looking at me. He said, well, it's going to be all right. I said, well, thank you, Pop. I grabbed my key. He said, where you going? All this talking got you hungry? I said, uh-huh. He said, where you going? I said, I'm going to say hello to Aunt Barbara.